Well, good evening. Welcome to the Virtual Public Information Center for the Brigantine City Lighthouse District Streetscape Improvement Program. You may be participating in the live event being held on September 1st, 2020. And if you are, please note that the event is being recorded. Alternatively, you may be listening to an online recording of the live event. Either way, at the end, please fill in the survey form available on the Brigantine website. Also note that the public input period closes on September 15, 2020. This presentation will last about half an hour. During the presentation, we will explain how the project is being financed and managed, describe existing conditions, proposed improvements, and summarize costs and impacts. The project is being advanced as part of the Transportation Alternatives Program, or TAP. This program seeks to implement transportation projects that improve communities through a number of means, such as using urban design to create downtown centers, linking alternative transportation modes, increasing access to community centers, increasing the visibility of the project area and community, and providing benefits to the community quality life and environment. The TAP program is funded by the U.S. government Federal Highway Administration, commonly referred to as the FHWA. The TAP program is a cooperative venture that includes participation by FHWA, the New Jersey Department of Transportation, or NJDOT, and the South Jersey Transportation Planning Organization. The program is administered by the New Jersey DOT Department of Local Aid and Economic Development. The program includes funding for engineering design, construction, and construction inspection. The TAP program is designed to support non-traditional transportation projects that will strengthen the community. The program seeks to improve safety and mobility for everyone, including the very young, the elderly, and the disabled. Elements of a typical TAP project include sidewalks, crosswalks, lighting, benches, bicycle facilities, and landscaping. This map shows Brigantine Island broken down into various planning areas or neighborhoods. The Lighthouse District is located just off the causeway to Atlantic City and serves as a gateway to Brigantine. The project location is shown on the eastern end of the Lighthouse District. Recently, Brigantine completed streetscape improvements along Brigantine Avenue in the City Hall neighborhood. These recently completed improvements will serve as a template for the new improvements in the Lighthouse District. Zooming into the project corridor, shown in yellow, runs from the Lighthouse Circle to the intersection with Brigantine Boulevard, Brigantine Avenue, and 30th Street. From the circle and then down to this intersection here along Brigantine Avenue. As part of a separate project, Atlantic County is advancing improvements at Lighthouse Circle, highlighted in red. These improvements will be designed to match the new streetscape improvements being developed as part of this project. In the next few slides, we will review the existing condition, where this slide shows the existing roadway travel lanes. Brigantine Boulevard is a main roadway linking the barrier island to Atlantic City and is free-flowing without any stops through the project area. There are two major roadways called arterial roadways that run the length of Brigantine. Bayshore Avenue runs along the northwest side or the bay side of the island. And this roadway intersects Brigantine Boulevard at Lighthouse Circle. Brigantine Avenue runs along the southeast or the ocean side of the island and meets Brigantine Boulevard at a triangular-shaped intersection near 30th Street. There's Brigantine Avenue, and that's where everything ties together. The minor or local roadways are shown in red. There are no signals within the project limits, and all intersections are stop controlled, where Brigantine Boulevard maintains the right-of-way and the side streets need to stop. Brigantine Avenue has bike lanes in both the northeast and the southwest of Brigantine Boulevard. So here, northeast and southwest. The bicycle lanes currently do not extend along Brigantine Boulevard through the project area. The major and minor roadways through the project area typically have sidewalks along both sides of the road, and crosswalks across Brigantine Boulevard are provided at 5 different locations. Here, 3, 4, and 5. And this provides excellent pedestrian connectivity through the project area. The New Jersey Transit 501 bus runs the length of Brigantine and connects to Atlantic City. The bus route runs along Brigantine Avenue through the east end of the project area. Through here. The route has stops at 28th Street and 32nd Street in both the eastbound and the westbound direction. The NJ Transit schedule also shows a stop at 30th Street in the eastbound direction. However, there's no sign showing the location of this stop. I'll be right about here. While the existing sidewalk network provides excellent connectivity for most pedestrians, the disabled can have difficulty negotiating sidewalks with steep cross slopes, steep longitudinal slopes, or uneven pavement. This map shows the area of existing sidewalk pavement, highlighted in red, that do not meet federal ADA design guidelines. The most common deficiency is sidewalk cross slope that exceeds 2% maximum. Here are the areas shown in red. The New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, or NJDEP, regulates many activities in many areas within the state. For example, NJDEP regulates flood hazard areas, which are lands with a high risk of flooding. The entire project area is within a flood hazard area, where the 100-year flood elevation is 9 feet, and elevations within the project area vary between 3.5 and 7 feet. The entire project area is also within the Coastal Area Facilities Review Act, or CAFRA zone. NJDEP also regulates certain activities within a CAFRA zone. Now, the proposed improvements will have minimal environmental impact. The project team will determine whether the improvements require NJDEP review and will apply for permit approval during final design if it's required. New Jersey maintains ownership of Tidelands, which are lands that are currently or formerly flowed by high tide. New Jersey Tidelands encroach into the project area, as shown in blue here, and here's where they encroach. The project team will obtain licenses for Tidelands within the project area from NJDEP during final design. The New Jersey Historic Preservation Office maintains a GIS online map viewer of the state's cultural resources inventory. The mapping application is called LUCY, which stands for Look Up Cultural Resources Yourself. The LUCY maps identify one existing cultural resource, the Brigantine Lighthouse, which is eligible for the state and federal registers of historic places. And of course, that resource is located right here in the middle of the circle, immediately adjacent to our project area. Since this project will receive FHWA funding, the project will comply with federal requirements for minimizing impacts to historic resources, which is referred to as the Section 106 process. NJDOT will lead the Section 106 process, which includes the following. That starts with initiation, and that's establishing the proposed improvements. And that's where we are right now. Also identifying historic resources. And of course, so far we've identified one resource, which is the Brigantine Lighthouse. This is followed by assessing and resolving adverse impacts, if there are any. And then all the way through these steps, public input or consultation is requested, and everybody's invited to participate. Now let's look at the proposed streetscape improvements. The proposed measures are designed to improve the urban environment and better accommodate alternative users and alternative transportation modes. Streetscape improvements include various elements, including decorative lighting, landscaping, permeable pavers, and trash receptacles, benches, bike racks. Here's electrical service, and note the meter cabinet has been elevated above the 100-year flood. Bike lanes, ADA compliant curb ramps, and decorative crosswalk striping. Landscaping is a significant part of the proposed improvements, with environmental benefits such as providing shade, reducing runoff, and improving the quality of the air and water, along with creating a natural and inviting space to encourage people to engage in social interaction. Proposed street trees include white crepe myrtle and green vase zelkovia, which will visually frame the project corridor, softening the viewshed and creating a visual definition between the roadway pavement and pedestrian areas. Ground covers include lily turf and dwarf fountain grass, which will fill in the planting beds and provide pedestrian level plantings. Now, this landscaping scheme is identical to the landscaping along Brigantine Avenue in the City Hall district, and would provide consistency between the two streetscaped areas. Now, the project team would be open to suggestions for alternative plants if the Lighthouse District community wants landscaping that provides a contrast to the streetscape improvements in other parts of Brigantine. Any suggestions for landscaping alternatives should be provided to the project team on the survey form, which is available on the Brigantine website. The overall streetscape plan eliminates ambiguity and clearly defines areas used by vehicles, bicycles, and parked cars. The roadway section includes 12-foot wide travel lanes, 8-foot bike lanes, and parking along the eastbound side of the roadway. To reduce the potential conflict between bicycles and parked cars opening their doors, a 2-foot wide buffer area is provided between the bicycle and the parking lanes right in here. A 5-foot wide minimum concrete sidewalk is provided along both sides of the road, here and here. In commercial areas, planting beds, which support both street trees and ground cover, provide a buffer between the roadway and the pedestrian areas. And this creates a space for strolling and commercial activity. Now, there are also existing open areas along the project corridor, where these areas are preserved and in some cases enhanced with the addition of street trees. With the addition of amenities like decorative lighting, benches, trash receptacles, and bike racks, the streetscape improvements will transform the project corridor to an attractive gateway for those driving to Brigantine from Atlantic City and will create an attractive place to bike, stroll, and shop. This is an overall plan of the project corridor from Lighthouse Circle to 30th Street. Note the darker area to the left, which shows the Atlantic County improvements to the Lighthouse Circle, and the streetscape improvements are shown over here to the right. The next 3 slides also show the project corridor, but in greater detail. Plan 1 is dominated by the Atlantic County Lighthouse Circle improvements and shows the location where the streetscape improvements meet the circle improvements, which is right here. Plan 2 shows the streetscape improvements in the middle of the project corridor. Along the eastbound roadway, landscape planting beds and other amenities create a buffer between the roadway and shops like Ace Hardware. Where the buildings are located up against the right-of-way, parking is provided in front of the shops. Now, the areas adjacent to the westbound roadway are much more open. Grass strips and parking lots separate the CVS building from the roadway. Veterans Memorial Park is an open area. That's here. And the Realtor building is set back, which is here, is set back away from the roadway. Through this section, the green areas are preserved and the street trees are added where appropriate to frame the project corridor. A small area of landscape is added just adjacent to the Realtor parking lot, right in this area here, just west of the bakery and the ice cream shop, as this area tends to attract a large amount of foot traffic. Plan 3 shows the east end of the project corridor. Streetscape improvements continue along eastbound Brigantine Boulevard and then wrap around 31st Street to end at Brigantine Avenue. See along here. Along westbound Brigantine Boulevard, streetscape improvements include landscaping that extends in front of the bakery and the pizza restaurant. Right in here. The proposed streetscape improvements will provide the following benefits. They'll improve mobility for the young, the elderly, and disabled, encourage alternative transportation modes, provide health and quality of life benefits, reduce runoff and pollution, and provide shade. It will invite access to the district and to businesses, which should spur local economic activity, incentivize business investment, and increase property values. Of course, these improvements will not be free, and there will be costs and impacts. For instance, the estimated cost is about $1 million, and this will be reimbursed through the federal TAP program. To construct the proposed improvements, workers will likely need temporary access to adjacent properties to tie in new sidewalk and driveway pavement. Temporary construction easements will be required for most adjacent property owners. These easements would be temporary, as permanent right-of-way acquisition is not anticipated. During the construction, the contractor will need to close portions of the roadway and sidewalk to provide room for his workers and equipment and to get the job done. Planned contract measures to reduce community impacts include timing constraints, where construction or at least lane closures and sidewalk closures would not be initiated until after September and would be buttoned up before the end of May, before Memorial Day. Uh, Requirements to maintain access to all properties at all times. If sidewalks do need to be closed, detours will be provided. And of course, there will be some temporary parking restrictions. The project is currently in the preliminary engineering or PE phase. Remaining activities in preliminary engineering include completing the public involvement process, finalizing the PE report, and preparing the environmental documents, which will be a categorical exclusion document or CED, and the cultural resources study as part of the 106 process. NJDOT is tasked with preparing the environmental documents. We hope to complete preliminary engineering and start final design before the end of the year 2020. Now you may access a video of this meeting via the Brigantine Municipal website at www.brigantinebeach.org, where you will find links to this presentation and the survey form. If you would like to get a more detailed look at the plans, you may also review the plan set by making an appointment with Matthew Doran, Brigantine City Engineer. Email Mr. Doran at mdoran@brigantinebeachnj.com or call at 609-266-7600, extension 215. You are encouraged to provide input and suggestions about the proposed improvements to this project team using the survey form, where the link to the form is on the Brigantine website. Please be sure to submit the form during the comment period, which closes on September 15, 2020. Brigantine and NJDOT appreciate your interest in the project and your participation in this virtual public information center. We hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.